She took a Klonopin at 8 p.m. exactly as prescribed. In 1 hour, she felt much better, but by midnight, she was wide awake with racing thoughts and chest tightness. Colleen was really struggling with her anxiety. What she was feeling wasn't just her old anxiety, it was something more, something no one had previously explained to her. Now, taking Klonopin does not mean you're weak. It is not a character flaw. When your nervous system is overloaded, it needs to be kept in check. The question is, how? I'm Dr. Ayer, quadruple board certified psychiatrist. I've treated thousands of people living with anxiety. And in the next few minutes, I will show you what Klonopin does inside your brain and why what you feel when it wears off might not be the anxiety you think it is. Klonopin, the brand name for a drug called Clonazepam, can be a helpful medication. It is still one of the most prescribed drugs in the country with over 10 million prescriptions a year. When someone is struggling with panic attacks, it can control them fast. When a patient comes to me severely ill, barely sleeping, and extremely anxious, a short course can be a lifeline while a longer treatment gets working. I prescribe it myself, usually for a couple of weeks, while an antidepressant has time to kick in. I've used it on hospital units too for people who are dangerously ill and presenting with severe mania. Used that way, it is a bridge that carries someone through the worst of it. So this is not a video about a bad drug. It is a video about what happens when a short bridge quietly turns into a long road. Here's how it works. Your brain has a gas pedal and a brake. The gas fires the neurons up. The brake is a chemical called GABA, and its whole job is to calm things down. Klonopin presses on that brake and makes those calming signals louder, so an overactive brain finally goes quiet. That is why it can work within an hour and why the relief feels like someone opened a window in a stuffy room. And here's something about this drug that matters. Klonopin is long-acting. A single dose can linger in your body for a day or more, far longer than a faster-acting drug like Xanax. Klonopin has a half-life of about 30 to 40 hours compared to Xanax, which is about 11 hours. This means Klonopin stays in your body a long time. It hangs around far longer than Xanax, which clears out in about a day. And that longer stay is actually useful because the level in your blood stays steadier. You do not get those sharp dips between doses where the anxiety comes rushing back. With a short-acting drug, you can feel it wearing off and spiking again before the next dose. Klonopin smooths that out. That is part of why doctors reach for it when someone needs steady, round-the-clock coverage, like with panic attacks or seizures. But this can change when people develop tolerance because they've been on it for long periods. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your brain loves balance. When an outside chemical keeps pressing the brake, the brain eases off on its own braking to even things out. Press long enough and the brain adjusts to a world where that pill is always there. This is physical dependence, and it is not the same thing as addiction. Addiction is chasing a drug even when it wrecks your life. Dependence is a body that has adapted to a medicine it was told to take. About 1 in 3 people who take a benzodiazepine for more than 4 weeks become physically dependent, even at the exact dose their doctor prescribed, even doing everything right. Here is the part most doctors never explain. Once your brain has eased off its own brakes, the medication is no longer only calming your anxiety. It is holding back a nervous system that has learned to run hot without it. So when the dose fades, the brake lifts and everything your brain was holding down comes rushing up. That wave of dread Colleen felt at midnight was not her original anxiety coming back. That was Rebound. It is the nervous system snapping forward the moment the medicine loosens its grip, and it can feel worse than anything that first sent her to the doctor. Now, this next piece changes everything. When that rebound hits, it feels like proof that you still need the pill. So you take the next dose, the wave settles, and your brain learns a lesson. The pill equals safety. Without it, terror. That loop can hold a person for years, not because they are weak, but because the rebound is so convincing. Colleen had taken it for 3 years. Every time she tried to skip a dose, the dread came roaring back, convincing her again that the pill was the only thing holding her together. Now, you may have heard that this drug simply stopped working over time. For some people, the calming effects fade. For others, it keeps helping for years. The science in this is mixed. What is not in question is the rebound and the dependence. Those are what trap most people. None of this is new, and that is the part you should be worried about. In the 1950s, a chemist named Leo Sternbach stumbled onto the first drug in this family almost by accident. By 1963, it had a household name, Valium. The Rolling Stones wrote a song about it, Mother's Little Helper, about the little pill that got anxious housewives through the day. In 1978 alone, Americans took more than 2 billion Valium tablets. And then slowly, the country woke up to how hard they were to stop, and that people could develop an addiction to these pills. It is important to note that anxiety treatment does not have to begin and end with the benzodiazepine like Valium, Xanax, or Klonopin. It is the work I do in my program, the Nervous System Reset, where we calm the system beneath the anxiety rather than just muting the alarm. The link is in the description below. Because a pill can quiet the alarm, it cannot retrain the nervous system that keeps setting it off. There is one more piece, and it matters more than anything I've said. Decades ago, a doctor named Heather Ashton spent years helping people safely come off these medicines. What she thought was simple. Coming off has to be slow and supervised. Now, I know that coming off Klonopin is not for everyone. This medication has been a lifesaver for many people, and as I said earlier, I prescribe it too. So this is not about taking away medicine that helps. It is about understanding it. If you're on Klonopin, do not stop on your own and never stop suddenly. With this drug, quitting cold turkey can trigger seizures. With this information, every decision belongs to you and your prescriber. I'm not here to tell you to start or stop anything. I'm here so you can finally understand what is happening inside you. And I'll be honest with you. For some of you, medication will be a part of the picture for a while, and that is okay. A short course to get through a crisis is not a failure. Needing help is never a failure. Colleen is proof of that. Here's how I think about treatment when I sit with a patient. My goal is always the safest path. That means the smallest effective dose and as few medications as possible. Medication has a place, but it is never the whole plan, because the real question is not just how to quiet the symptoms. It is why the alarm keeps going off in the first place. So we look deeper at the things most people never get checked. Inflammation, gut health, how well your cells make energy, your hormones, your blood sugar. And then we build from the ground up. Food that steadies you, the right supplements, movements your body can handle, real tools for stress, and cutting out the things quietly making it worse. That is what lasting calm is built on. Not one pill, but a whole system finally working with you again. That's what this next video explains.